Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and it is finally time for a video that I've been waiting to do for quite a long time on my channel. This is going to be my top 10 artists on my favorite label, Monstercat. Figuring out who exactly I wanted to feature on this list was one of the most difficult tasks that I've had to face since I started this channel, just because there are so many great artists on Monstercat. But I think I figured out my true top 10 and I'm finally ready to tackle this video. So let's get right into it with my number 10. Tristan. As we all know, Tristan made his Monstercat debut in early 2016 with his song Before We Fade, and since then he's released a number of killer singles that have really showcased his talent as an artist, even going on to see a feature on Monstercat's 5-year anniversary compilation, which I honestly thought was kind of weird considering he's such a new artist on the label. On top of that, Tristan is one of the few artists on Monstercat that my mom will actually listen to. I simply think he's got a lot of mainstream appeal, and I can't wait to see where the label takes him next. Number 9? Tokyo Machine. When the Pegboard Nerds went on their bass house binge toward the end of 2015 and early 2016, we all kind of knew that they were going to have a bass house alias at some point. So when Alex Auden from Pegboard Nerds announced that he was Tokyo Machine, I wasn't too surprised, but nonetheless I was actually impressed. In fact, I think that Alex as Tokyo Machine has released some of the label's most creative music that they've ever pushed out. I do think it's kind of odd that a Norwegian producer would go off and make an alias where he's kind of this cutesy Japanese DJ, but nonetheless, I think Tokyo Machine's music has contained a consistent quality, and I can definitely get behind that. My number 8's gotta go to Savant. Now you guys might know, I have a little bit of a history when it comes to Savant. I haven't always loved his music or respected him really as a person, but really my opinion of him has pretty much flipped entirely in the past few months. I mean, as soon as Monstercat picked him up last summer, I could really feel my heart start to change when it came to Savant. Without a doubt, one of the best signees the label has seen in years, and I definitely think Monstercat probably regrets when they were denying his demos just a couple years ago at this point. I did think it was a little strange though how Monstercat released an LP from Savant where he's literally murdering the Monstercat. And I mentioned this back when I reviewed Vibes, but regardless, this is probably my favorite album that Savant has done. I definitely think he's a great pick to the label and definitely deserved his spot on this list. My number 7? Deon Zimmer. Man, absolutely nobody expected this one. I mean, Zimmer had done orchestral suites for Monstercat in the past, but I don't think anyone actually expected him to start releasing original music on the label, especially after he had composed for such successful movies as The Dark Knight, Inception, and Interstellar. And although he's not really EDM in the slightest, he has released some of my favorite music the label has put out in the last couple years. Just an all-around great artist, and I can't wait to see how he progresses. My number 6 is DJ Sushi. Now, I'm always a bit skeptical about these food-themed masked DJs, you know who I'm talking about. But DJ Sushi has continuously surprised me with quality tunes. His debut album, Brain Freeze, was easily one of the best records of the decade, let alone the year. And you know, his Monstercat debut track, Emptiness, actually connects with me on a spiritual level. With the lyrics of the song beautifully comparing the pain of a heartbreak to an empty stomach, I just feel like personally in his lyrics, DJ Sushi really understands me, and that's why he earned a spot in my top 10. My number 5 is without a doubt Silent. I think from the moment he released his Monstercat debut, Eagle Eyes, with his fiancée ML, I knew I was going to love this guy. Since 2014, Silent has released in nearly every genre that the label has had to offer, from trance, to drumstep, to dubstep, to trap, basically everything. And on top of that, he's got enough talent to master almost every release that Monstercat puts out. And although his recent couple releases on the label, Droppin' Low and Back to Start, have been some of my least favorite material he's ever put out, he regardless remains one of my favorite artists of all time in Monstercat. Number 4, 11 from Stranger Things. Now with Synthwave kind of blowing up in 2016 thanks to Stranger Things, we all knew Synthwave was going to come to Monstercat at some point, but the fact that an actual actor from the show was recruited to both sing and produce as an artist on Monstercat absolutely amazed me. Although I think her actual artist name itself, 11 from Stranger Things, is pushing it a little bit too far, I have regardless enjoyed her releases on the label quite a bit, and it's been some of my favorite Synthwave that I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. My number 3 is Deathmouse. Now this one of course is going to be a little bit of an outlier because of course Deathmouse hasn't actually released on Monstercat yet, but I mean at this point we really know it's coming, especially since most of the artists from his own label, Mousetrap, have already left for Monstercat, including Atlas, Rez, No Mana, Black Gummy. On top of that, Monstercat already announced that Unbelievable release, and although they've claimed that the Unbelievable release is Bass Nectar, I think it's Deathmouse. And I think that after Deathmouse moves to Monstercat, we're gonna see easily some of the most successful singles he's ever released, hands down. My number 2 is the Monstercat itself. Probably one of the smartest marketing moves that Monstercat has done since the label's creation in 2011 was having their CEO, Mike Darlington, release music under the alias Monstercat. And although Mike has kind of kept it under wraps that he himself is the Monstercat cat, their branding for this project has been absolutely huge, with them putting out a singing plushie to accompany his first couple releases. This is by far one of my favorite things that Monstercat has done, only second to my number 1. And my number 1 is, you guessed it, the Marshmallow Man. Now we all know that the Marshmallow Man is arguably one of the biggest artists in the EDM scene right now, but I honestly don't think that his release on Monstercat is anything like a cash grab for the label. He is truly a genuine artist who has made some of the most unique and inspiring music I've heard in EDM music in the last few years. Honestly, whenever I see him bumping this music in front of these huge festival crowds, all I want to do is take off that big helmet and just give him a nice kiss on the cheek. I've been following Monstercat from the very beginning, and honestly, I think that the Marshmallow Man is the best thing that's happened to the label. And really, that's all I have left to say. I love this guy and I can't wait to see what he comes out with next. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 video. I am very much looking forward to doing more videos like this in the future, and I've got new review content just coming out in the next couple days. I'm Landon Remixes, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.